Your team's 2-0 after another big win over Simon Fraser. One of the things we talk about every year is that development from week 1 to week 2.
Mm-hmm.
What area, I guess, were you happiest with to see your team make a big jump from week 1 to week 2?
Yeah, it's all about the football. So the fact that we were able to change the turnover margin the way it was, and we saw 1 turnover. We want to clean that up, but we were able to get the other 4 turnovers and convert 2 of them into touchdowns, which is outstanding. And so we practiced quite a bit on what you do with the ball on defense afterwards, and so I was able to maximize that moment, those 2 moments that came to us. So, we want to also just be able to say that I thought our tackling got cleaned up, and I thought our passing game got cleaned up even too. So T. Will did a good job of really reading coverage as well, and continue to make strides as he develops as a quarterback. And we're excited about what he can do. And I actually thought he did an even better job with his legs this week too. So. There's growth. There's still a lot more growth on the table we got to have. It's my job to continue to identify those things, and it's our staff's job to continue to coach them and identify as well. But we got to work on how do we get better this week.
Coach, following 2 home victories, moving into week 3, you're going on the road for the first time this year. So, what are some of the unique challenges and just ways you might change preparation, or just what's unique about this week?
Yeah, the thing about going on the road is that you do have somewhat of a bit of a more constrained time preparation. We've done this trip to Western Oregon quite a few times. It's flying to Portland and then be able to move over to Salem, stay there, and then drive over to Monmouth. But one of my most favorite times, probably being a head coach and now going to my 13th year, is that when you take time on the road and be able to say you get to focus just with the team. It's about football. Our guys have a great time on the road, and so you just really love that us versus the world type of mentality. And so I think challenges we have right now as we prepare for it, it's identifying what players will go. We have a very competitive roster right now, and there's only 54 slots out of the players that the league allows us to take. So that's going to be a big challenge for us as a staff, because I think we have a lot of worthy guys that are contributing to this football team and making an impact. But unfortunately, there's only 54 spots, so we got to figure that out this week about who's going to go.
And then, all 3 phases of the game last week. Offense, you mentioned T. Will already. The defense with the turnovers, Palomeni with the interception return, Anderson with the fumble return. But an underrated performance might be Josh Olave with 2 interceptions. And then all the way to special teams, Jacob Hall hitting 3 career-long field goals. Yeah. How happy are you with each of those 3 areas, and maybe what's one area in each that you want to see continue to improve?
Yeah, I mean, happy is in the sense that we're progressing. Yeah, and like I said, I don't mean to be that guy. But you have to be that guy in this role. Say, okay, here's where we're growing. There's never an arrival, and so to see Jacob do what he did, that's outstanding. When you have a kicker that can hit the long field goal, you never know when that's going to need him to win the game from a long field goal. To show that his confidence, he can do that, and all the operations of the field goal team looked outstanding. I'm really excited about what happened with the full development of the special teams here, all those depth charts. You saw some guys put together some pretty good performances, things that the crowds don't necessarily see, but the way they run down, with their physicality on the coverage teams, to be able to block for a long time on the return teams, that was exciting. I know that you saw the jump, there's progression, there's development. And then defensively, you're seeing guys learn exactly where they need to be, how they need to fit. You're seeing them begin to play with that unconscious competence that we always talk about, that they're able to play fast around here. So I thought what was also good offensively, we were able to play more offensive linemen and continue to develop that group. I think what hit me was more of we're still a pretty relatively young roster, and so you've got some guys who are cutting their teeth on some things, and some guys that are just playing really some good veteran football, but it's only their second year on the team. So there's a really healthy desire to be great in this football squad and with the coaching staff. So I think that gets you up in the morning and you want to be a part of it.
When can you determine what type of team you've had? Do you kind of figure it out through one round of the conference play? Do you already kind of get a sense for what this group is capable of at this point?
Well, I think you get a sense of what they're capable of. That's the great way of saying it. They're capable of. Now, you're trying to figure out what's the maturity and what's their mindset. Do they have that growth mindset that we're talking to? can they regulate their own attitude? And that's where I don't know yet. And I'm sensing the way they practiced last week, and then we'll see how they approach this week. But they're hungry. They're excited to be at practice, and that's a sign of a very good football team. They have a chance to be very good. This is a lot of work for very few opportunities to actually play the game. If you have a team that enjoys being with each other and a team that just enjoys the full scope of what goes with college football, then you got a chance of being really good, and you got a chance of just having one of those memorable seasons. If anything, is just for the fact that they got what the essence of college football is all about. It's a real privilege for us to be a part of this, and I think this team gets that.
Moving into playing a familiar opponent, Western Oregon, just what are your initial thoughts on what they do, and what are you expecting to see from them?
Yeah, I was seeing where they're really airing that football out now. Ty's he's a tremendous runner. They're a quarterback, and it's first time being a full-time starter, and he's deadly with his legs, and he's got the receiving core that can spread it out. And so watching the last two games, they played a very tough game against Angelo State where it goes down to the wire. Central Washington, some things get away from them, but you see them competing the whole game. You're seeing an offense that can, I think, is aggressive, finding themselves defensively. You see them once again, they're true to their roots, so they have got very big physical defensive linemen, and you got a defense that wants to fly to the football. We're going on the road. It's a great venue to play at, and so we know that it's GNAC football, and now we're in the heart of it all. And I told my team that it's like, hey, listen, this season is off and running. We can't see land behind us. We're in the deep water now, so we got to be all about this going forward, and knowing that week in and week out now, it's going to be all you can ask for and all you can eat when it comes to football. So we got to make the very best of today, not assume one thing, not overlook any moment, to be critical of ourselves in a healthy way, and be optimistic as we prepare and look forward to the future.
Then you talked about the depth and how tough that travel roster decision is going to be. But what does having that depth, that quality depth, do for you as a program? Not just for the team, but for the university as a whole, to have over 100 guys here on campus that are contributing to the university.
Well, one of the things I've learned over my time is that you need to recruit to have a healthy competitive roster within house. And we have that now, and a lot of the young guys are now mature, and you have a great last two classes, and last three classes. You see where we're at, where they're coming in. So there is one of those things where who travels this week, it may not be the same roster traveling the next week, and you're looking at it brings the best out of guys in their position group. There's a healthy competition. Guys genuinely are excited for each other. I think the best thing I saw as an example of that was when Robbie Polomeni makes that interception. Someone got a great picture of him running, and you're seeing the whole sideline excited for him, and from all offensive positions, defense positions, and backups, genuinely excited. And so the competition we have is that we talk all the time is that the toughest competition has got to be what we have in-house. And we don't play or get a chance to scrimmage somebody and then warm up. So from day one when they report, we're always saying, hey, like iron sharpening iron, how do we do that? Well, I think we have a roster now that guys are working their tail off even for the special teams reps, whereas some programs that could be a place where others say it's kind of gimme reps, and they say, no, man, the guys are very proud of those reps, and that's a culture here. And we know that when it comes to the final cut about who makes the bus to get on that airplane to go to the airport, well, how your role in special teams is going to play into that. And you could be the number 2 position somewhere, and whatever that is, the number 2 on the depth chart, but you're number 4 on the special teams depth chart. Well, that's going to make a big difference. So we're always talking about, whenever we travel someone, we want that roster to be the healthiest, most effective roster possible for that week. And those are tough decisions as a head coach. You love your players, the relationships we have here, the brother we have here. You got to help them understand the context of that. Is that this is not anything against you as a person. It's everything to do about we're challenging you to be a competitor for life. And this is a little bit more real world stuff. That you've got to be hungry every single opportunity you get. You don't ever arrive and everything's given to you. You've got to every day wake up, and that whole attitude we have around here about win today. It's got to show through in how we prepare for a football game, and how and then the fruits of that are going to show in how we pick that travel roster.
Great. Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
All right, thank you.